All right. So we're holding Daf Nun Hey Omid Beis. Today's Daf Nun Vav. All right. This is that. Oisoi. Okay. Good morning. Says the Gemara, Vahashto. We are holding 5 lines from the bottom. Vahashto. Vahashto nafkele mivshochat esachatos. We know that everybody has to perform the avodah in the north part of the Beis Hamikdash. From what? From the word, from the pasuk v'shochat esachatos. Oisoi that we have by the seir of the nasi limutei mai. So we showed it yesterday. We have this word oisoi. Oisoi is an exclusion. Only him. Only this. This is talking about the nasi, the seir of the nasi that was chayta. It says oisoi. But if it includes, if we already know that every chatos is included, so what does oisoi come to exclude? Now pay attention, because this is what we're going to be talking about today for this entire Omid basically. This word oisoi, this red word, what does it come to exclude? It says that all the chatos have to be done in the north part of the Beis Hamikdash, besides one, oisoi. Only it, not something else. Now, I learned this sugya, and I said I was going to make it easy for the olam. I was going to make a chart. And the chart was going to go through the 4 options of the Gemara. The first one is that it comes to exclude the carbon from Nachshon. Nachshon was the first nasi that brought a carbon in the Beis Hamikdash, the inauguration of the Beis Hamikdash, right? We read it, the carbon, the Mishkan. The inauguration of the Mishkan. All the Nasim brought, he was the first. So it's called Nachshon. So over there I would think, maybe it comes to exclude that he didn't have to bring it in the northern part of the Mishkan. The Gemara pushes that off, and then the Gemara says that it means that the Shoichet himself doesn't have to be standing in the north. Only the animal has to be standing north, but he could extend a long knife and shecht it in the north. As long as the animal is in the north, himself, the Gemara pushes that off. Then the Gemara says maybe it comes to exclude birds. Birds don't have to be in the north. You could shecht them anywhere, and really you don't shecht birds in the north typically. It's better not to shecht them in the north. Melika, yeah. And the Gemara pushes that off, and then finally the Gemara says it comes to exclude the Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach doesn't have to be done in the north. So I was about to put this together, and then I noticed that the Gemara did it for me. It says Nachshon v'shochat oiv b'Pesach siman. It would have been very embarrassing if I would have whipped out this, because usually I skip those. Every time I see abbreviations and how do you say Sagraim in English? What? Parentheses. You guys say brackets in England?
Brackets are the square ones.
You don't tell the Englishman what brackets and parentheses are. We Americans have it wrong. Okay, brackets. We're going to from today on. Parentheses are brackets.
Square parentheses and round brackets. Put the su into the middle.
So let's start the sugya. So you guys have it. It's very simple. So oisoi limu'utei mai. This word oisoi, what does it come to exclude? Nachshon v'shochat oiv b'Pesach sim. Limu'utei oisoi, only this nasi, this pasuk that's talking about the nasi that did an avera. He gets to go in the tzafoin, in the northern part of the Beis Hamikdash. Vein seir nachshon bat tzafoin. The nachshon, which is the Chanukah. What are you looking over here? The way it's written.
No, they moved it a little bit.
Okay. The soyer nachshon, meaning the soyer that you bring on the. Oh, I actually did print it out. Not that it's very important, but it goes like this. In pasuk Yud Aleph, it says like, "Vayom Hashem Moshe nosi echad layoyim yakrivas korbanim lechanukas hamizbeach." This is chanukas hamizbeach. Who? The nasi. And then later on it says, "Sirizim echad lechatos." This is a chatos. So this Chanukas HaMizbeach is considered a chatos. What's interesting about it is, a chatos is brought, we know a chatos as somebody does an avera, that you chayiv kares on it, b'mezid, you bring a chatos b'shoigig. They didn't bring this carbon chatos for an avera. They brought it as as inauguration. It's more like an oila than anything else. Yet we have to come on to this. We need to know that it says chatos here. And if it's a chatos, it should fit into this pasuk, v'samach yadai, chatosu. That you do tzafoin. We learn from over here. The makayim asher yishchat es ha'oila, in the same place that you shech the oila, which is in the tzafoin. Chatosu. That's where you shech it. So anything that's a chatos should go in the tzafoin. That should include also this guy, the nasi. Comes oisoi and says no, you don't shech the nachshoin. Again, it's called nachshoin because he was the first one of all the nasim to do it from Shevet Yudah. So could I dechamina hoyo bis rabbi liyin smicha, this rabbi nami liyin safain. Kamash malon. I would think that since the nachshoin you had to do smicha. What smicha? You lean on its head with all your might. You put your whole body weight on it and you say some sort of tefillah, either kapara or you thank Hashem. So I think since, and the Gemara is going to continue, where do I learn it? From this exact pasuk. So if it's in the same pasuk, this pasuk, I learned smicha from this pasuk, so I should also learn the makaim from this pasuk. Kamash malan, oisai, maybe. That's the havamina, that's try number one. Comes oisai and says, no, the nasi does not, you don't have to shecht they didn't shecht it in the tzafon, they shecht it anywhere in the Mishkan. This is really part of the kasha. The sanya v'samach yodai al roish hasayir here in this pasuk. V'samach yodai al roish hasayir. Now, what could have it said? So I put it in parentheses. I hope it's not a problem. We could have taken out the whole word hasayir. These are parentheses. English brackets, American parentheses. Do they even have that word parentheses in England?
Yeah, the parentheses is something that's very for sure.
Without parents.
You have to be more sophisticated to know what a parenthesis is. So for the Americans, they made, okay, fine. They could have just written v'samach yodai al roishai, added a little vav here in the blue, in the brackets parentheses. It would have been roishai, and then I could have gotten rid of this whole word asayir, because the pasuk beforehand says that it's a sayir. I don't have to say again sayir. What do I learn from the extra word asayir? Says the Gemara, I learn that even nachshoin has to do smicha. No, this word hasoyer comes not for nachshoin, comes from something else. See Rabbi the Zohar smicha holding daf num vav amidal on the top. Fine. So since I know smicha by nachshoin, so I would say it needs also tzafoin by nachshoin. Komash malan oisai, oisai comes to exclude it. That's why I need the word oisai to exclude nachshoin, a carbon nachshoin from the north. Maskil v'lo Ravina. So Ravina pushes off try number one. Teinach leRabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that the pasuk that you need smicha, that you learn smicha, and therefore I also learned tzafoin. Reb Shimon, Reb Shimon doesn't say that I learned smicha from that pasuk. He says I learn avodah zarah from that pasuk. So if I don't learn smicha, then maybe I don't learn the north. Now, do we have time? Taisus says real quickly. Taisus dibra maskil Reb Shimon ma'ikle meimar. Now he says the lemayit tzir avodah zarah. The word oisoi comes to be memayit avodah zarah. Lo mistaber lo ukmei kivin shem kishar chatois da alma. So maybe the word oisoi for Reb Shimon comes to be memayit avodah zarah. He says no, I wouldn't say that because avodah zarah actually is a chatos. Fine. Next. Now another question. We continue with the question. It can't be that the oisoi comes to exclude a carbon nachshoin from tzafoin. Rabbi Yehuda Nami, I have a question not only according to Reb Shimon, but even according to Rabbi Yehuda I have a question. My dis Rabbi is Rabbi, my lo is Rabbi, lo is Rabbi. This pasuk says hasoyer, and from there I learn smicha, mechatesa to learn tzafoin. Where does it say anything about a carbon nachshoin that needs tzafoin in this pasuk? Just because I included, I made a special riboy for smicha doesn't mean I'm going to make a riboy for tzafoin. My lo is Rabbi, lo is Rabbi. Maybe I would say like this. At the end of the day, we said that this sa'ir, this korban nachshoy, the Torah calls it a chatos. So I have a binyanav, a general rule for all chatois. Every chatos in the world has to go b'tzafain. So maybe I should learn tzafain in a nachshoin from a binyanav. Says the Gemara, no. Smicha gufa lishtei kraminav v'teis binyanav. You see that smicha you don't learn from a binyanav. How do I know that a korban nachshoin I have to lean on it with all my might? Because I have a special word has sa'ir. Why do I need to come on to the special word? Just learn there's a general rule that every chatos in the world you have to lean on it. And a korban nachshon is a chatos, so therefore I have to lean on it. From the fact that the Torah has to come up with a special word to tell me that you need the leaning, so I cannot learn out from a binyanav. So if I can't learn out smicha from a binyanav, so I can't learn out either suffering from a binyanav. Nachshon is special. I can't learn any binyanav from it. Ella, what's that? So why not? Why is nachshon so special? That nachshon was a one-time carbon. Once in history, they did an inauguration for the Mishkan. So I don't learn out a special one-time carbon from a normal chatos. So if I don't learn out smicha from a regular chatos, so I don't learn out carbon nachshon that I have to shecht it in the tzafain from a regular chatos. There's no binyanav. At the end of the day, I have no reason to say that a korban nachshon needs suffering. So then why in the world do I need the word oisai? Back to the original question. In this pasuk, again, those who just came, this pasuk is referring to a nasi. A nasi, not to be confused with nachshon. Nasi. The nasi who did an aveira has to bring a sayir. And it says that he has to shecht it in the tzafain, like a oila. And it says oisai. Oisai is an exclusion. Only the nasi, but not something else. What else could it be? We said it can't be this carbon called nachshon. So what could it be? Try number 2. There's 3 more tries. Great halacha. And that's how we pass it. That the shoichet, the guy, the kohen shechting the animal doesn't have to be in the north. The animal has to be in the north. The knife reaches into the north, but he could stand not outside the choyma, but he could stand in the south.
He had a long knife, wasn't there? Like a more closer to him. He had a very long knife when he was standing up there.
Yeah, but that was
No?
he would be standing over here on the side of the mizbeach, reaching over. There's not a lot of room. There's a lot of koyanim. There's a lot of traffic going on here. So he's standing over here, the very long knife. The animal's in one of these rings that you see here. But at the end of the day, he's leaning over. Oisai meaning referring to the animal, not a type of a carbon. The animal has to be in the tzafay, not the shoichet. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. I don't need a special oisai. I don't need this pasuk to tell me that he has to be standing there, because I have another oisai. Rebbe Achia. Nafka. I learned it from Rebbe Achia, the Sanya. What? The Sanya Rebbe Achia Omer. V'shochat oisai. Another pasuk that says the word oisai. Ayerechem izbeach tzofoin. Omaltam eloim elefishim otzinu b'mekabel. Sho'oimei b'tzofoin u'mekabel b'tzofoin. We learn that the Kabbalah Saddam, right? The second avoid, the first you do shchita, then you have to be mekabel adam. You have to receive the blood in a vessel. So how do I know that over there the kohen does have to stand in the north? Vim omad bedorim bekibu batzofon pasal. Oh, so memela yochel avzekein. Maybe the shchita should be like Kabbalah Saddam. Why did I say oh? Because I dug up my chart from Zvachim. Maybe you'll remember it, because it was one of the weirdest charts I made. I'll never make a chart like this today. But anyways, you guys remember this? V'lokach hakoyin. So the Gemara darshans, it should say lokach. What's v'lokach? So the Gemara flips the vav and the lamed, and for some reason I thought I had to make a special turning chart. And it says loikach. Loikach. You take the velokach and you make it into loikach. You get it? Not velokach, but loikach. What does that mean? That he himself has to be standing there. That's how you learn from. Not to be forgotten. Such a chart is supposed to, but it didn't work. Still forgot it.
You remember that.
You remember that I turned something. You don't remember what it said in it. Okay, shkoyach.
You had to turn your chart.
Right. This is the turning. This is the arson. This is where it came out the arts and crafts. Again, ve'lok achakoyin
The
loikach.
whole week on Thursday night together.
Fine. So what steht da? So I didn't make this up. If you look in Rashi, you could see in the it might say in your Rashi Daf Memches, like it's like I don't know, 15 lines down. It says V'lokach hakoyin midam achatos mikabel atzmei minol. And how do you know that the person holding the cup, receiving the blood, has to also be in the north? He says it in two words. If you don't have my chart, you don't know what's going on here. It says V'lokach lo yikach. Fine. So I looked up in Memches and my chart was there, Baruch Hashem, in Memches. Fine. Akobanim, we have a pasuk already that says oisai, another pasuk, not our oisai. So what do I need my oisai for? I'm still stuck. I know that the shochet oisai b'tzafin v'lei shochet tzorch leis oimid b'tzafin. I know this halacha, and that's how we say the halacha, that the shochet has to be standing anywhere he wants. The animal has to be in the north. The shochet can be anywhere. Yeah, because that we had another, I think, a big long thing. I'm pretty sure it has to be in Nazar. So, says the Gemara, try number 3. When you shech ben oif, it just means when you bring a bird and you do malika on the bird, you don't have to be in the north. Not only do you not have to be in the north, as we learned, it's better not to be in the north. If there's too much congestion over there in the north, you do it in other places, not in the north. I would have a havamina that you have to do malika in the north. Why? Because if you do shchita on an animal, on a benzain, on a regular sheep, you have to do it in the north. So certainly a bird, I would think. We know that shchita is mutar bizarre, meaning I could do the shchita, even Yisrael could do the shchita. So it's weak, it's kal. So a bird that only a kohen can perform the malika, so certainly it should need the halachas of what a sheep has, which is only in the north. Says Gemara, no, that's not a good kavachomer. Why? When you have a kavachomer, it means that everything is chomer about the other object. The tzayin has something that's not kal. You're saying that's kal. Why is it kal? Because you don't need a kohen to shecht it. But guess what? It has something that's more chomer than a bird, which is the knife. Only a knife, so that gives it a chumrah. It gives it a chumrah, so maybe once I have the chumrah of a knife, I would also have the chumrah that I have to shecht it only in the north. And therefore what? Maybe that's why it needs the north. But a bird that I don't need a knife, I only use my fingernail, so maybe it doesn't need north. So then why do I need oisai? I don't need oisai. This is the final try. The word oisai in this pasuk comes to exclude a carbon pesach. When I shech the carbon pesach, everybody in Klal Yisrael shechs carbon pesach. They don't have to be in the north. They could be all over the Azara. Oisai, only in regular chatos, but not, and these karbanis, but not carbon pesach. Pesach, as the Gemara with the Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov Nafka, the son of Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov Omer. What do I need oisai? I have another way of learning it. I would think that carbon pesach needs the north from a kavachomer. Oil is weak. I can bring the oil anytime I want, right? If I want to bring in a David HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I bring it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, any day of the week I can bring it. But carbon pesach was dafka on Erev Pesach, so it's a chumrah. So if an oil that was weak needs the north part of the Azara, so certainly carbon pesach. So I'll say no. Maloila she can call oil is not weak. Oil has a chumrah that Pesach doesn't have. Oil you have to consume it entirely. You can't eat from it. But Pesach is weak. So since the oil is so strong, it needs kolul. You have to burn it completely. So it needs safin. But a carbon Pesach doesn't need safin. So mechatos. So I'll learn carbon Pesach from a carbon chatas. Carbon chatas is not kolul. You don't burn it completely. The kohen could eat from it. and the Korban Chatos doesn't have a time, and if it doesn't have a time, it's more chomer than a Korban Pesach. Yet it needs stuff, and so if it's more chomer, so certainly Korban Pesach that does have a time. I'm sorry, it's less chomer. It's less chomer because it doesn't have a time. Korban Pesach that's more chomer that has the time, so certainly it should be bitzafin. Malachatos, but Chatos does have a kula, shekain or chumra. I'm sorry, chumra. We said a Chatos doesn't have time, so mele it's a kula. Now we're saying a Chatos has a chumra. Malachatos shekain mechaperes l'chayove krisos. It comes to be mechaper for the worst avera chayve krisos. So I learned Pesach from Asham. Asham also doesn't have zman. Ememela it's weaker than a Korban Pesach. Mala Asham, and therefore, if Asham is only B'tzafa, and so Korban Pesach should also be only B'tzafa. Mala Asham shekain kachim. It's the highest of the high, but a Korban Pesach is like Shlomim, which is kachim kalim. So it's kal in that sense. Mikulu nami, and if you're going to combine, do a malatzad shavish behem sort of thing, and you learn from Chatas Oil and Asham. No, all of them are stronger than Pesach because they're all kachim. So the Gemara goes back. Let's go to the first pshat. Like the first pshat. Let's forget about Pesach now, and we're going to go back to the pshat of that the shoichet doesn't have to be standing in the north. The word oisai comes to exclude the person shechting, not another type of carbon, but the person shechting doesn't have to stand in the north. And how can we push that off?
Why are we not accepting the fact of Pesach?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Oyster comes to exclude Pesach.
No, but there's no reason to say that's different. Why is it any different? Fakert. They are all weaker than Pesach. There's no reason to say that Pesach is different.
I mean, why should it be so?
That's why the pasuk is right.
I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it. Says the Gemara, why do we push off that pshat that Oysa comes to exclude the shoichet doesn't have to stand in the north? Because we said I already know it from Rebbe Chia. Rebbe Chia also pulled out a pasuk that says Oysa. So the Gemara says, no, you learned the wrong pshat in Rebbe Chia. He doesn't use the word to exclude a shoichet. Rebbe Chia his Oysa doesn't come to say that a shoichet doesn't have to. Fakert. It comes to include something. And a shoichet b'tzafon, ava mekabel b'tzafon. He comes to learn. The Oysa is not extra by him. He's coming to say that I need the word Oysa to say that the person receiving the blood must stand in the north. And Memela, I don't have a word to say that the shoichet doesn't have to stand in the north. Where do I learn that out? From over here. That the shoichet doesn't have to stand in the north comes from the Oisai in the pasuk of Nasi. End of the sugya. Yeah? Oh, not quite. Says the Gemara, Mikabel milokach v'lokach nafko. Wait a minute. Why do I need the word Oisai to tell me that the person receiving the blood has to stand in the north? I have that moving chart, that circular chart that says, I learned that from the word v'lokach. Lokach v'lokach loy mashmalei. To switch around the vav and the lamed and make it a loy kach. No, if he's standing, the shoichet could stand in the south. Shoichet is standing in the south, he leans over with a knife. But then he has to run in there with the kli and go into the north.
Or someone else.
So he's lokach in the north. So what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
like, the physical image. How is he, if we're considering being lokach outside of the north, how is that possible?
Sticking his hand over, or a kli that has a big handle, sticks it over and grabs the blood from the neck. The animal's in the north, he's in the south, he's only 3 inches away from him.
So kli is made a certain way.
So he'll hold the handle. He's standing right here on the corner, he's right over here.
Understand how it looks like. Where?
This is the north, this whole area.
Right?
2 inches to the south of this line, of this green line, is south.
Just don't understand how it's physically possible.
Should I demonstrate? This is the north. My carbon is right over here. I lean over and I go like this. What's the problem? My animal's in the north. I'm in the south. And here's his neck. And I just go like this. What's the problem? I'm standing in the south. What's the problem?
The
South doesn't mean a kilometer away. It's 1 inch away. South is 1 inch away.
He's thinking of
Yeah, exactly. He's thinking loud.
According to the Mandama that does learn from Lokach to Lokach, what does he do with Osa?
What?
According to the one that does learn Lokach to Lokach, what does he do with
Oisa
Osa?
he learns for Kabbalah Saddam.
No.
You're asking it's a double? No.
He's asking, we don't have
The
no
Gemara
fear of
answered, why do we need Osa? Because the other Osa, Rabbi Chia,
Oh.
used to learn Lakicha, B'tzochoy.
Right.
According to the other Mandama in Zvachim that says that you do learn from the Lokach, what does he do with Osa?
No, what does the article say?
Pesach.
What does your Masifta say? Okay.
So, according to the Maskana, your revolving chart has been done away with.
According to that, no. According to only one Mandamar, he doesn't hold of this Velokach revolving chart, but the other one does hold of it.
So what's the din according to on Pesach? According to them, on Pesach you can't.
Yeah, Pesach Shecht anyway.
And that
But I wouldn't have a Havamina that they're not. What?
we learn it from some other drashas that you.
Yeah. I wouldn't think that I learned it from.
So it's nice when you write this, you could decide what questions you want to discuss and what questions you just want to.
No. It's possible that in the back. This is it.
So, this
Okay. Now,
17 minutes.
how many minutes left?
17 and we have still to finish this.
Shmak. No. It's a very short Amid on the back. V'chayev al ishoso v'al reichoso v'al afiyasa. We learned in the Mishnah that you're chayev if you make a regular mincha should not be chametz.
Three lavin.
Yeah, is everybody holding here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the bottom. We learned in the Mishnah that a regular mincha you're supposed to make sure that it doesn't become chametz. And if it becomes chametz, then you're over a lav on each critical step. Maybe even 4 lav, and we said even on pouring the water on top, or even the sumsum. Depending on how many critical steps there are. V'chayev al ishosa v'al richosa v'al afiyasa. Omer Rapapa. Rapapa comes up with the Maradik Chiddush. Afa loikestein. If somebody just puts the bread into the oven, he gets 2 malchus. How much is 2 malchus? 80 lashes, not 2 lashes, 80 or 78.
78.
Achas al richosa v'achas al afiyasa. Comes Rapapa and says, listen, when you put the bread into the oven, you're actually shaping the bread. There's no better way of shaping bread than create by solidifying the shape. When you put the shape into the oven and it becomes a shape, before you put it in the oven, you could just put your hand on it, it'll become smush. By you putting it in the oven, it just became the shape.
But what if it wasn't Menachos when it was when the Rika was done?
It wasn't?
Menachos when
Okay, so then you're over afterwards. What's the problem? You're over at any step.
Why would it wasn't Menachos when you did that Rika? Why
So it
would
won't
you
become
about
in
it?
the oven either. I'll take it from
Did it become chametz when you put it in the oven?
After 36 minutes it becomes chametz. After 9 minutes it's not chametz.
Yeah. So
The Aricha 9
then of course you're not over on the aricha, right?
Right.
You're
So
not.
why is
He's
it
saying if the aricha was chametz, only if it was chametz, only
Whenever you have a fear, you don't always have it.
correct. In the case that the aricha was chametz, then by the fiyah you're over. If not, like in your case, you're right. Even better than that. In your case, that there's no chametz at all by the fiyah, he's chayiv 0 because it's not chametz. I'm talking in a case that it's chametz, then he's over 2. By the aricha it was chametz. You have to say that was.
Talking about oven where he puts the bread on the outside of the
Rabbi
oven.
Naftali is just asking that you're making sure you have to. The Gemara is talking about that it was chametz at the time of the aricha. Otherwise, obviously, you're not chayiv on that. Fine. What are you saying?
What kind of oven are we talking about? We're talking about where they put it in and they shaped it on the outside of the oven or the inside?
No. The bread had a shape already. By you putting it into the oven, you made that shape hard. So you actually created the shape.
You're talking about
You
the loaf is inside the
convey
oven.
the shape. You did the last step of shaping it.
It's not like pizza where you put it on the
No.
They don't have that in the back.
No, you already made it. You
It's like a
you
regular
braided
pie,
it. Whatever you
put it
did.
into the oven and
Yes.
put it
It doesn't matter what the shape is. It could be a pita also. What's the difference?
out. No, because it was this
Says the Gemara. How could that be? V'amris, we said yesterday. We said that how do you know that you're chayiv on each and every step? Because you learn it out from baking. And the lashon of the Gemara was just like baking is one maisa, so too other things are one maisa. Even more than that. You could even learn the Gemara even better than that. If you're chayiv 2 lavim on baking, then how did the Gemara even learn out that you're chayiv even for lisha and aricha? Baking is 2 lavim, so how could I learn out from baking that you're chayiv 2 lavim something that you're only chayiv 1 lav? Forget about it. Too confusing. The point is the Gemara says that it's one thing. Okay, it's muchach from the Gemara that baking is 1. Says the Gemara loy kash. Look inside the Gemara. How do you learn this Gemara? By just without any Rashi anything. Loy kash. If he did both, he did the aricha, he did the shaping, and he did the baking, how much should he be chayiv? 2. Very good. That's the pashup pshat. But no, that's not the pshat. Of course, that's not. Otherwise, it's a trick question. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask you the question. He's chayiv only 1, says Rashi. And the other case where he's chayiv 2 is because he only did one thing.
Because he's mishtatek now.
Yes.
Because 2 separate people did the things.
No.
Because 2 separate people did it.
No.
And there were 2
Pshat is very simple. I'll tell you pshat, very pashut. Hold on. Let me just say pshat. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
If his friend did lisha and aricha.
No, he did lisha, aricha, and afiyah.
Oh, so let me just tell very simple pshat. If a person does the aricha, he shapes it, so he's chayiv immediately for shaping it. If he puts it in the oven, he's only chayiv 1 because he already got an avera for shaping it. He can't be chayiv 2 shapings. So if he did the aricha and he did the afiyah, on the afiyah he's only chayiv 1 because he already got an avera on the aricha beforehand. But if his friend did aricha, forget about lisha now. If his friend did aricha and he didn't do aricha, he just put it into the oven, then all of a sudden he's chayiv 2 because putting in the oven is part of the aricha. What's the big chiddush here?
Really, he's chayiv 2 because he did it already before.
Yes, the Gemara calls it 1. Yes, he's always chayiv 2.
Chayiv 2 and not 3.
If he also does the aricha,
The question is, are you chayiv now or you already chayiv before?
What's the big chiddush here? Rabbi, what's the big chiddush
You
here?
already chayiv and now you're adding something, another
Oh.
thing? Or you're putting it in, it comes together, both chiyuv and
What's the big chiddush? What's the big chiddush here? The big chiddush is that a guy already got malchus for shaping it. So how do you get malchus for shaping it afterwards? You hear the big kasha? You don't hear the kasha?
Can't punish 2 guys for the same thing.
Oh, how can you punish 2 guys for the same thing? Oh, and that's why this next sugi comes up here. Says the Gemara Ton Rabbanon. We're going to have 4 shitas here. So just as a quick akdama, a bachar, a firstborn animal, goes to the kohen. You're not allowed to make a mum on a bachar. Now what happens, asks the Gemara, if the bachar has a terrible mum, a life-threatening mum called too much blood. His body has too much blood, he's going to die. In those days, they used to do bloodletting. Even today, I heard they do it, and it's very healthy, they say. Right, Doc?
Not exactly.
Oh, not exactly. Okay. Somebody told me he does it. Okay, certain. Yeah, I know. Not every single person goes and does it. And it's not in every block that they have the blood. Anyways, this animal, I can just see it. He's in class. They said today. Fine.
You have to coordinate that better next time.
Yes, it was good.
There's too many red blood cells on that.
This animal has a life-threatening disease, says Rashi. It's already about to die. Sekonus nefashos. So what does he want to do? He wants to do bloodletting. Now, bloodletting, you could do it in a way that it's not a mum, or you could do it in a way that's a mum. What's the way that's a mum? You close your ears if you're squeamish, noam. You take a needle, you just draw the blood straight out of his eye, or from his ear. Because the rest of his body, if you draw the blood from his shoulder, or a cow, you stick a needle, big deal, it's going to be healed in 25 minutes. Fine. Now the question is, are you allowed to cause a mum after a mum? Because we just discussed, could you cause a chamitza after chamitza? Could you do aricha after aricha? Comes the Gemara now with this kind of sugya. Let's see it inside. And we're going to have 4 shitas, whether or not you're allowed to do it. We're not going to talk about it again. We're going to get, actually, this is just the Hagdama to squeamish. We're going to have another sugya that's way more squeamishy than this. Says the Gemara, the first sheet is Remeir, who says that you could do Hakazas Sadam, but make sure you do it in a place that doesn't cause it a mum. You're not allowed to save his life, even though he has such nefashos, by causing another mum in a place that's a mum. Where are the two places, says Rashi, in his eye and his ear? If you poke his ear, if you nip his ear, it causes a mum. Do not do hakazas down from his ear. He's already has a mum. It's a mum achamum. It's a problem.
Rabbi Gershom says it's in the lip.
Okay, fine.
It's the same case in.
It wasn't as gishmak. Lip is not as gishmak. Says Chachamim that you're allowed to do it even in a place that has a mum. Just don't take advantage of that and say, "Oh, my animal has a mum. Now I can go shecht it and eat it." No, we're gonna give you a penalty. We're gonna say no. It's a knas. You can't shecht this animal. Don't consider it a mum. So what do? You wait for another mum to occur, and then you could shecht it. Reb Shimon Oimer, but that's not a mum. That's a mum oiver. That's
once you do that kaza, he gets back.
once you do that kaza, it's finished. Reb Shimon comes and says, "Af nishchat alo yisoy mum." Reb Shimon is the famous Reb Shimon, says Rashi from Shabbos, that Dov Hashem Iskaven is mutar. So over here, since he didn't have kavanah to shecht it, his kavanah was to heal it. Taisus has a bam kasha, but everybody knows psikresha v'layamos. You can't chop off an animal's head and say, "Oh, I didn't think he's going to die." If you're going to chop his head off, he's going to die. So that's also according. Over here also, obviously, you're creating a mum when you're doing a kaza. Fine. He learns a different shot. Rabbi Yehuda Omer afilu meis ein makizin leisadam. Rabbi Yehuda is the hardest shita. He holds that even if the animal is going to die from its not letting the blood, in other words, his initial mum, you don't do it even in a place that's not going to cause a mum, because this is a gzeira of somebody adam bol amamoinoi.
Isn't this a treifa?
What? No, just because he has blood, no.
He's going to die from it.
Yeah. But it's not obvious death because you could let it out. It's not like a punctured heart. It's not for sure. You just go and it's over. Agobar Rabbi says, "Adam Baal Mamoin." A person is very worried about his money, so next time he's gonna do it even in a place that causes a mum. We say don't do it at all. Now, why is this important to our sugi? Even though he's putting a mum in an animal that already has a mum. If you look at Rashi real quickly, like 9 lines down, anybody that helps out the chimutz, it's a very interesting Rashi, that's why I'm pointing it out. Rashi is kind of learning that every step of the way, doing shaping and doing lisha, each one adds chaymetz, Naftali, it's a little bit onto what you're talking about here. Look in this Rashi, see if you understand it completely, because it's interesting Rashi. Messiah b'chimutz, he's helping out the process of leavening. Each one is an additional leavening. Fine. Says the Gemara that if everybody holds that if Reuven does the shaping and then Shimon does the shaping, because it says that every step of the way you're chayiv. Now, this is very interesting. The Torah tells us that when you bring a korban, make sure that you don't castrate the animal. So, but the Torah says for lashonos, umauch, v'kosus, v'nosuk, v'choros. You shouldn't squeeze it, you shouldn't crush it, you shouldn't sever it, and you shouldn't cut it. Choros is to cut, but it's still on the animal. Nosuk is a complete, you got rid of it completely. Now the question is, if the Torah says you're not allowed to cut it, but it's still somewhat attached with the sack, but so then obviously if you cut it off completely, you're chayiv. Derech Agav, the Torah Pesachim says that this pasuk is not only by korbanos, it's even your own dog. If you have a dog, you're not allowed to castrate a dog. You're not allowed to neuter a dog. It's asur, midaraisa. Fine. So says the Gemara, im koyresu chayiv al noisig lekolchkin. Certainly the noisig. Why does the Torah have to go through all 4 lashonos? Elalavi noisig ache koyresu chayiv. The teretz is if somebody cuts the beitzim and then the second that comes along and chops everything off completely from his body, he's also chayiv. The animal can't reproduce anymore from the first guy. By you cutting it completely off the body, then you added something to it. It's very similar to our sugya. By you doing lisha and the next guy doing aricha, each one adds a little bit, each one is chayiv. So where's the machlekes remaining? Adding a mum, letting blood to an animal that's already has a mum. He has too much blood in his body. Remember, so by call mum lo yiyeh boy. Here. The pasuk says, "Vishki yagiv zeh shlam Lashem lefali neder linadava baboker betzon tamim yeh." The animal should be whole, complete. L'ratzon kol mum lo yeh boy. Remeir learns from these red words. Kol mum, it shouldn't have any mum. Chachamim learn from tamim yeh. How do you learn? What's the difference? Where do you learn? It's from the same pasuk, but what do you learn? Remeir says kol mum lo yeh boy, that it shouldn't have any mum. Don't add any mum to it. Rabbanan Sabri, Tomim Yeh L'Ratzayin. Only something that was already whole and complete, do you have an isser of kol mum? Don't add a mum. Don't create a mum. Rameir says even that if it has a mum already, don't add another mum. What's Rameir going to do with these words? Tomim Yeh. That if an animal is born with a mum, so it's not over if you add a mum to it. Says the Gemara, and the Gemara explains in its question. It's a palm tree. An animal that's born with a real mum is no better than a piece of wood outside. You can't be magdish it. The gdush is never chal. Mashenkin over here, the gdush is chal, then later on it got a mum, and then you add another mum, but it had a gdusha to it. So you had an animal that it had a mum on it. So what do? You went and you redeemed it. And the Torah says, "V'achalta basar," you should eat its meat. So the Gemara darshans that you eat its meat, but don't shear its wool. You can eat it, but don't shear its wool. What does it tell me when I can't shear its wool? It tells me that it still has some kedusha to it. Don't view it as a complete chulin. It has kedusha. If it didn't have any kedusha, then why can't I shear its wool? Vasir begiz v'avoda, I can't even work the animal. If it's chulin, why can't I work him? So I would think, maybe such an animal that I redeemed it, I can't inflict a wound to it. Komash malon, that I could. That's what he does with Tamim. That such an animal I could inflict a wound on purpose. Rabbanan nami yaksiv kol mum le'yeboy. What do Rabbanan do? The L'maisa it says kol mum. You can't add any mum to it. So why are you telling me it only means Tamim, only when it's whole? L'chayr Rav Meir is right. It says kol mum. Unbelievable. How do I know that I can't do a groma to a mum? Beautiful case. How do you know? He wants to get out of his carbon. He wants to eat this carbon. What does he do? He puts a candy on the animal's ear. Comes a dog. He sees the dog, wild dog. He puts it on his ear. Comes the dog, bites the food right off his ear. In doing so, he punctures the animal's ear. I didn't do it. The dog did it. No, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to cause. That's a grama, and you're not allowed to do it. Kol mum omar mum kol mum omar mum v'omar kol mum. Kol mum means anything, including also making a dog come and bite the ear. Have a great Shabbos. Motzi Shabbos until we change the clocks is going to be the same late time of 9:15. Be'ezer Hashem. Right here, 9:15.
How does it fit in this sugya of dukim shaba'ayin? And it says that he put a mum, but dukim shaba'ayin.
Dukim shaba'ayin means the least of the least moment.